I don't usually tell this story. Most people wouldn't believe it, but every September, it comes back to me. Like the fog creeping over an empty road, curling along trees, covering everything in a pale, damp silence. September is a strange month. Summer is fading, yet autumn hasn't fully arrived. The air smells of dry leaves, damp earth, faint smoke from distant chimneys, and something else. An almost imperceptible sweetness that unsettles the mind. Nights are colder, shadows longer, and fog gathers early, drifting through streets, climbing into the fields, hiding everything beyond a few feet. There's a quiet in the town that feels alive, pressing in, watching, waiting. My friend Daniel had traveled through a small New England town at the start of September. It was picturesque. Wooden houses, porches decorated with pumpkins, red barns, cornfields turning gold. By day, everything seemed perfect, even comforting, but the night told another story. By night, the silence pressed in unnaturally. Footsteps, rustling leaves, the occasional creak of a gate, all echoed in ways that felt wrong, stretched, distorted, and impossible to locate. Daniel loved old stories and abandoned places. Naturally, he asked the locals about haunted spots. Everyone hesitated, their voices lowering, glances avoiding his eyes. Then one old man finally said, "Don't go there, not in September." That's when the voices return. Others whispered, "That house takes what it wants." Daniel laughed it off. Curiosity is a powerful thing, and fear rarely stops someone who seeks the unknown. The farmhouse had a dark history. Built in the early 1800s, it belonged to a family cursed by mysterious disappearances. Over generations, children vanished, servants fled, and strange deaths occurred. Diaries were found scattered in nearby fields, written by the last inhabitant, a woman named Margaret. The entries described shadows that moved against the walls, whispers that spoke directly into the mind, objects rearranged without anyone touching them. Some pages were burned, others were soaked with what appeared to be old blood. No one had lived there for decades, yet the house seemed waiting. The day Daniel decided to visit, the sun was already sinking. Fog hugged the edges of the narrow road as he drove toward the farmhouse. Trees leaned close, their half-bare branches rattling, scratching against each other. The fog thickened with every mile, curling around his tires, climbing into the field edges. Shadows stretched unnaturally. Every rustle sounded like footsteps following him. Occasionally, a crow's distant caw or the snap of a branch made him flinch, though he knew he was alone. The farmhouse appeared suddenly through the mist, dark, sagging, windows like empty eyes. The porch drooped low, wood splintered and decayed, as if weary from standing centuries. The front door was slightly ajar, inviting him in. He stepped inside. The air hit immediately, damp wood, mold, and something sweet but rotten, like overripe apples left in the sun. In the living room, a rocking chair moved slowly, back and forth, as though someone had just left it. Daniel froze. The motion didn't stop. Then he heard whispers. At first faint, like wind through dry leaves, but wind doesn't form words. Dozens of voices murmured, layered, pressing into his mind, echoing off the walls. He moved further inside. Floorboards groaned under his weight. In the hallway, footprints appeared in the dust, not his own, small, bare, leading upstairs. The air grew colder. Hallways stretched unnaturally. Doors led to wrong rooms. Hallways curved impossibly. Every room told a story of decay. Wallpaper peeling, furniture broken, dust thick enough to write a name in. Objects subtly moved when unobserved. Shadows flickered across walls, angles changing unnaturally. The house seemed alive. Daniel explored the kitchen. Rusted utensils hung from hooks. A faint smell of burnt food lingered. On the table lay dried, rotting fruits. He noticed faint scratches along the walls, like fingernails trying to escape. He moved upstairs, each step groaning under his weight. At the end of the hall was a dusty mirror. He wiped it clean, expecting his reflection. But he didn't see himself. A woman stood behind him, pale, hair dark and tangled, wearing 1800s clothing. Her lips moved silently. The whispers intensified, pressing against his mind. Finally, hers cut through. "It's harvest. Stay for supper." The rocking chair downstairs slammed violently. Walls groaned. The room twisted. Daniel stumbled back, spinning, empty. Back to the mirror. She was closer. Panic surged. He ran down hallways, stairs stretching impossibly, doors leading nowhere. The house seemed alive, chasing him. Whispers circled his head, louder, pressing, echoing every memory he had ever tried to forget. In the attic, he found old trunks. Opening one revealed torn dolls, dried flowers, and pages from Margaret's diary. Words repeated, "They listen. They want. You can't leave." Shadows moved across the floor as though breathing, stretching, reaching. Something whispered directly in his ear, "Stay." He tried to escape, but every door led to another room. Hallways twisted impossibly. Windows that should lead outside showed only darkness. Panic became suffocating. Finally, he burst outside. The fog thickened, swallowing the fields. He ran blindly to town. Locals listened to his story without surprise. One simply said, "That house doesn't let you in unless it wants you. You're lucky it spat you out." Daniel never returned. Weeks later, he disappeared completely. His car was found near the farmhouse. Inside was his phone, still recording. Audio captured footsteps, his breathing, then the rocking chair. Long silence. Finally, his voice slower, colder, chanting, "It's harvest. Stay for supper." Nothing after that. Police never found him. But every September, locals hear whispers in the fog. And if you stand still, letting the mist close in, a new voice may call your name. And when you hear it, you will know that the house is waiting, always waiting for someone else.